have lived very frugally basically the entirety of my adult life and have done some pretty crazy things in the name of frugality. Sometimes it was out of necessity just to keep food on the table and a roof over our heads, but other times it was by choice. Whether you're living frugally by choice or out of necessity, people are going to judge you. They're going to give you some side eyes. They're going to talk behind your back when you are living a frugal lifestyle. So I want to share some of the craziest things that I've done so that you know you are not the only one who is living unconventionally, doing things unconventionally in order to save some money, and also maybe to give you some ideas. Make sure you leave the craziest things that you do in order to save money in the comments below to help give other people and myself other ideas. The first thing that I have done to save money is I have gone dumpster diving for food and other items. A few years ago, I read this book by Rob Greenfield called Dude on a Mission or something like that. I can't remember what it is. I'll put a picture of it up here. But in the book, he travels across America and only eats what he can find out of the dumpster. The purpose of him doing this is just to highlight how wasteful we are as a society. I know when a lot of people think of dumpster diving, they think of gross, nasty food, but grocery stores everywhere throw away perfectly good food that could be donated. So we decided to give it a try and see what was really out there. We went to Aldi, Dollar General, and PetSmart were kind of like our three main stores on rotation. We would go once a week. We would go out in the middle of the night and go check out dumpsters. Aldi had tons of like produce and canned food, and it was just crazy how much stuff they threw away. We figured out their delivery schedule and knew that they threw away food on the day or the day before, I can't remember, of their delivery. And so we knew when their dumpster was going to be full of fresh food. So we would go in there after they closed and I would climb in the dumpster and grab food. We also would go to the Dollar General. There were lots of other miscellaneous items, toiletries, toys, clothing, anything that is returned gets thrown away. And I don't really know the reason why a lot of the stuff was being thrown away. Maybe it was just they weren't selling it anymore. It was out of season, but so much stuff gets thrown away. PetSmart was really surprising because anything that was returned to the store just gets thrown away, even if it's completely fine. Like animal cages, like rabbit cages, dog toys, beds, like everything, leashes. We found everything in the dumpster. They throw away dog food that is just slightly expired or is returned. They will slice the bag and throw it in the dumpster instead of donating it to the animal shelter. It's really so wasteful. So I know that the point was to save money. We were able to save money on the PetSmart stuff. We resold it a lot of times on Facebook Marketplace, and we were able to make a little bit of money. And dog food, we have dogs, so we were able to feed our pets. Anything that was left over, we gave it away to friends and family who had pets. We donated some of it to local rescue groups. The food, what we didn't use, we donated. We gave it away to friends and family who, needed help with food. It was really, really eye-opening on the amount of food waste that we have in our society. And we were saving money, but it was also just a social experience that we had. Okay, so the next crazy thing I did was I got really into CVS couponing at one point. So CVS has a system where you can go in and scan your card and you get CVS coupons, in-store coupons, and you can combine those with other coupons and get a lot of free stuff just by doing that. There are several websites for couponing that, like, I Heart Coupons and the Crazy Coupon Lady, I think, are the two that I mainly use. And it would just let you know what deals were available and with what coupons so you could get stuff for free. CVS, on top of the coupons, also has extra bucks where when you buy certain items, you get CVS dollars back to use in the store. Well, at the time I was on food stamps, and you can only buy food with food stamps. Okay. But you can go into CVS and buy food with food stamps and get CVS extra bucks back and be able to use that in store for other items besides food. So I was able to combine extra bucks that I got from food stamps with the CVS coupons plus outside coupons. At that point, I was basically buying nothing. I was able to get all of my toiletries and medicines and basically anything that CVS sells. I was getting that for free just by being very aware of the coupons that CVS offers. And I don't want anybody to say anything negative about food stamps. At the time, I was a single mom. I wasn't getting child support. I was struggling, working really hard, and I got myself out of that situation. It is not easy to get food stamps. There are a lot of qualifications. So the people that are on food stamps need to be on food stamps. And so I just don't want to hear anything negative about that. Okay, I have volunteered at local farms for free food. So there are farms in most communities. We've kind of traveled around and we have been able to find places like this just about everywhere. You can go and volunteer at a local farm, and at the end of your few hours of harvesting their produce, they will let you take some of that produce home that you harvested. And that is a great way to get really good quality local produce for free. It was also great for, I've taken my kids to go and do that. They learned. It was a really good educational experience for me. So having that experience before we even got here on our property, and I'm starting to do all this stuff on my own now. Instead of paying for activities, I always am trying to find free ways to do things, and that is mostly through volunteering. Some of the coolest things that we have done is we have worked with the Monarch Society in the Smoky Mountains to catch monarchs, tag them. I get to have it's just like a really cool day experience learning all about monarch butterflies. We also have done a fundraiser for the bear rescue in the Smoky Mountains. So we were able to donate money to them and in return visit their sanctuary and receive some cool education on black bears in the Smoky Mountains. When we were in Florida, we volunteered with the Marine Science Center and were able to be part of a lot of turtle nesting season. We have helped approximately a dozen turtle nests hatch and get, the little baby turtles to the ocean. These are not experiences that you get to have unless you are volunteering, and they are more valuable, in my opinion, than anything that we could have paid for. We have also volunteered for animal shelters, rescue groups. We have fostered lots and lots and lots of dogs and cats. We have delivered puppies. We have raised puppies. We have trained dogs and attended adoption events, getting to talk to the public and all of that stuff. Obviously, we're animal people because all of the volunteer stuff that I just told you about was basically around animals. But find what your passion is and do that. Volunteer. Have some really cool experiences for free. We have no home internet service. We do not pay for internet at all. We have a phone. We use Mint Mobile and we pay for their plan that is upfront for a year and it comes out to $15 a month. We have internet on our phones. We're able to scroll, watch videos, do, all the basic phone internet stuff. But when we need like fast Wi-Fi, fast internet, we just go to the library or go out. There's Wi-Fi everywhere at Home Depot, gas stations, fast food places. You can just sit in the parking lot and use Wi-Fi for free. So just with our phones, because we have internet on there, we just don't need to pay for high-speed internet at our home. We have lived without central air conditioning in the Southeast. So twice in my adult life, my central heat and air has broken, and twice I have chosen not to fix it for a very long time and just see how long we can make it without central heat and air. And really what I've discovered is that for most of the year, it is not necessary. When we lived in Florida, our central heat and air broke and we used window units. We put window units in the bedrooms just to keep it cool, mostly at night. And it was completely fine. We never needed heat there. So that wasn't an issue. We had a couple space heaters, but it never really got cold enough. Maybe like literally 10 days out of the whole year did we ever turn our space heaters on. And then when we were in Tennessee and our central heat and air broke, we did need heat. So, I mean, we did eventually have to get it fixed. But for, most of the year, we just didn't need it. It was fine. We just made do without it. I have renovated 2 houses with no experience to begin with. So I bought my first house at 25. It was a foreclosure. I got a 203K renovation loan on it. And initially, because it was a renovation loan, I had to have a contractor come in and help with the initial renovations that was part of that loan. But then after that, I was able to do most of the work on my own. My dad helped some, my husband helped some. Initially, I was single and then we got married towards the end of when I was living there. But I did a lot of the work on my own and we sold that house. We're able to profit quite a bit on it and moved to Florida. Did the same thing there, bought a fixer upper, renovated it, learned a whole lot. Every single time we do something, we learn something new. Funny thing about Florida is the houses are concrete instead of wood. So that was a whole new learning experience, how to renovate a concrete house. And we were able to sell that house for a lot more than we paid for it because we were able to renovate it on our own. So our family has lived in our car in a tent for several weeks while we went on a cross country road trip. Instead of paying for lodging, hotels, Airbnbs, we lived out of our truck and visited a bunch of national parks, had a great time, saw lots of cool things. But in order to save money, we lived out of our truck and a tent. While we did all of those travels, we stayed mostly on BLM land, Bureau of Land Management. There is free land all out west where you can stay and camp for free. There's no amenities. So, it's off grid lifestyle. We did occasionally stay in campgrounds so that we could shower and stuff like that. It was a great experience. Definitely would do it again. It was a lot of work. It's not, just like going and staying in a hotel and having a nice, relaxing vacation. It was an experience and an adventure. We couldn't have had it if we would have stayed in a hotel. When we sold our last house in Florida, we sold it and we bought an RV to live in so that we super downsized. Because we live in an RV, it is way, way less expensive than owning a regular house. When you live in an RV, you have no mortgage, no property taxes, unless you own a piece of property. Uh, we do. Our property taxes are only $400 a year. And we don't have to pay homeowners insurance either. There's less maintenance, less furnishings, just overall upkeep when you're living in an RV versus living in a full house. We bought an older RV, we renovated it all in. We're about $9,000 in. So, I mean, we're saving so much money living there. It is temporary. We are going to be building a house. We don't want to live in an RV forever. Although I know a lot of people do. We're just a family and we want to build a house to live in. So that's our long-term goal. We are currently living completely off grid. We have no running water. We have no electricity hookups. We do have a little battery pack, a solar battery pack with some electricity, mainly to charge our phones, to run some small appliances like blenders, toasters, a TV and a DVD player that we will watch occasionally. But yeah, we are just living off grid on our property. We're going to be putting in, all of this stuff eventually. It is just so affordable right now to live like this while we still can. Our housing expenses are basically $0. And yeah, we're saving a lot of money on our off-grid property. I stopped shaving, which I feel like is only crazy by society standards, like the culture that we currently live in. There's really nothing crazy about not shaving, but the average woman spends approximately $10,000 and 2 months of her lifetime shaving. And that just wasn't something that I was willing to do. And there's really no benefit to me in shaving. So that's just something I've gotten rid of. It is kind of taboo. Although there was a study that came out that 25% of Gen Z women are not shaving their armpits anymore. So maybe it'll come back in style and be a little less taboo to not shave. We have utilized expired food that is given away for free. Not super expired food, just, slightly out of date, maybe not quite as fresh as it should be. There was a library close to us that a local store would donate all of their expired food at the end of most days, like their bakery goods, instead of throwing them away, like I talked about with the dumpster diving earlier. Instead of throwing all that stuff away and creating waste, this this store donates all of their food to the library to people who need food. I talked about dog food earlier in the dumpster diving thing, but like many, many years ago, before we did that, I used to work at a dog kennel, and Purina had a rewards program where you could collect like these little um, codes off of the bags of dog food and mail them in. And in return, you got coupons. Well, the dog kennel that I worked at fed Purina dog food. So I was able to take the little symbols off of all the dog food at work. And in addition to any dog food that was there and used up by the boarding dogs, and I would just go around and collect all of these Purina codes and mail them in. And I was getting coupons and coupons and tons of coupons. And I was never having to buy dog food for my dogs. I looked it up before I did this video, and I think you have to have the receipt now and you do it digitally. So that wouldn't work. This was a while ago, over 10 years ago, that I was doing this. So that doesn't work now. But I'm sure there's a lot of other ways to get creative and save money on couponing apps that you could do. Just think critically, think outside the box, and always look for opportunities. I have months where I spend no money other than just on our very basic necessities like bills, food, necessary food, not eating out, gas to get to and from necessary places. We won't spend money on any type of entertainment activities, new clothing. We just have the mindset of make do with what we have and not spending any extra money. It's kind of like a trending thing now. It's called no spend months. And we have definitely done that a lot. We probably do that more months than not. Anything that we need to spend on, we kind of like plan for and save up for, and is not something that is just part of our daily life. People have lived through difficult economic times for all of human history. And I think we can really learn from our ancestors and other people who currently live in low income, poor communities on how they are surviving with very little money. It is possible to not only survive, but thrive even when you don't have a lot of money. If you can just think critically, think outside the box, and do some unconventional things that maybe people are going to judge you for, but is making your life better. Don't forget to leave the craziest things you've ever done to save money in the comments below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time.